The art of haggling is overpowered. A legendary art that has been passed down from generation to generation, from a random uncle at the store haggling for some milk, or perhaps your parents haggling for a piece of cloth. Haggling is one of those things which is heavily rooted in a lot of families' traditions, specifically Eastern families. It doesn't matter which part of an Eastern family you are, you probably know or have someone who have haggled before. Now, to experience haggling, it is quite different from actually seeing it for the first time, and that is because witnessing the haggling happen in front of you does not mean that you are concerned with it. Now, there are a lot of rules when it comes to haggling. Reading the room, understanding the client you're dealing with, understanding the person who you're haggling with. Let me explain why. It is only when people start haggling in the wrong way, they start injuring others' emotions, feelings, and even sales at some point. This is why you see a lot of Eastern families take their kids with them in order to learn the methods of haggling. Let it be conscious or subconscious, they eventually end up picking it. However, before teaching how to haggle, we should understand the concept of when to haggle. Now, there are no set of rules about when to haggle. However, there are certain things which are agreed upon with every community. Rule number 1. Check the price before you haggle. A prime example for this would be some people going to the supermarket to buy a bottle of Coke and they end up trying to haggle for it. Now, don't get me wrong, €2 is a big amount of money, but do you truly believe it is worth haggling over €2? While there are some vendors who appreciate haggling, this is counted as one of the major taboos to avoid whenever you're haggling. Going to get that Gucci bag from the Gucci store for your girlfriend because of your anniversary coming up, only to realize it's €600. Oh no, whatever shall I do? Well, my good friend, that is when you shall haggle. Chances are they are overcharging you. When you're haggling, it's like eating cookies from a cookie jar at 3 a.m. You know you're gonna get your bum whipped if your parents find out. However, you do not really show them until it's a bit too late. Those kind of stores usually have a separate area where they sell their out-of-season items, and that is where haggling comes best. And that brings us to our next rule. Always find the perfect and right place to haggle at. You do not go to a brand store to haggle, you go to a off-brand store to haggle. You really do not want to get charged overpriced for a thing you can buy at a lower price. There are some stores who sell these items as if they are original when they are clearly not original. And I personally would like to pay my money for the luxury item at the original store. Usually specific stores have a kind of appearance to them, which tells you if they are willing to haggle or not. Some clue marks for those appearances might be the street it's on, might be the inside of the store, might be the vendors themselves. That is where your detective skills will come to play. But that also brings us to our third rule. Do not haggle independent stores. Usually those are family-owned places. Those people dedicate themselves to this craft, and chances are they are 100 times much more better than any big corporation you'll have around you. Which is why it is common courtesy to respect them and respect their word and try not to haggle. And trust me, chances are they will be very, very kind and they will offer you things either ways. Which takes us to the next step, places where you should never even consider haggling. And for this, I have one specific place in mind, and that is conventions. Specifically, art-based conventions. One of those conventions, and the biggest one in Europe, is a convention called Dokomi in Düsseldorf. Now, this convention features a lot of things, as it is the biggest convention in all of Europe. One of the most interesting experiences that I've ever experienced in the last 3 or so years of me being a helper at my friend's booth was when somebody tried to haggle me. Earlier this year, I was at Dokomi with 2 of my closest friends, Miss Lydia and Miss Gingergin. Now, those 2 people are amazing artists with a lot of backgrounds to them, and they are very, very nice people to deal with. All 3 of us were meant to run a booth for our friend, Lydia. As she was the owner of the booth, she has already set up the prices for everything, as well as a very simplified process for our smooth brain to operate on. Throughout the convention, the entire place was packed with people coming and going, checking art out, buying art. Things were happening all over the place, and we were all relatively having a lot of fun. From taking pictures with cosplayers to chatting with clients, as well as enjoying our time simping over characters behind the convention stall. At the last day of the convention, where everyone was very tired, came the most interesting moment that I've ever experienced in any convention. Approached me a group of ladies. As they approached the booth, I put on a smile on my face because I was very hungry and tired and told them, "Hey, how can I help you?" The lady pointed at a standee of a character called Zane and said, "3 pieces please." And as I told her right away and started packing things for her, she got closer to the booth and said, "You will give me good price, yes?" Now that is where my Eastern brain started functioning. I was awoken. I have figured that that lady wants to haggle and the receiving part was ready to haggle too. Signaling again, she said, "3 pieces please? With a good price, yes?" And I told her, "I will see what I can do." I turned my face towards my friends, trying to hide the laughter and the excitement in my face for a person to finally try and haggle with me. But I kept that excitement to myself, and I went back and told her, "I'm sorry, there is not much I can do as this is not my booth." However, I told her that we had a small offer with a booth right next to us, where if you were to buy something from us, you can simply get a small discount from there. With a smile on my face and a full-on eye contact, I gave her the slip of paper and told her, "Booth next to us, discount price, show this, you got it." And even with all the language barriers between us, that worked. For one, she paid the price in full for us, and 2, she got the slip of paper, which guarantees a sale for our stall next door. So never be afraid to engage in haggling. Chances are you'll get a better price. However, if things don't go your way, do not be stubborn. Haggling is a two-way road. You either win or lose. So take it like a champ and haggle responsibly.